You can also monitor Grts real life. That takes us to our first break. We'll be right back.
dama ne at bu bees lakk gu bees yëf yu ees ci place bu bees bi ñëpp di xamama gis ci at bu bees mi ñu teeru la daral la darangal la makkite date 31st of December 2011 at the Jellybar Resort Hotel, the paradise on earth. It's the grand spectacular mega explosive New Year's Eve upmarket banquet dinner in grand style. Vivian with 3 international awards. Crystal Promotions Gambia ne yeksi amna 1st of January 2012 grand dance at duplex. VIP $700, individual $500. 2nd January show at the theme park $200. Proudly sponsored by AfriCell.
Welcome back. Fears of renewed religious violence between Muslims and Christians are increasing in Nigeria's Plateau State. This as members of one family were killed overnight. This latest incident comes on the heels of the 5 Christmas Day blasts allegedly carried out by the Boko Haram group. Christian and Nigeria's leaders, as we hear in this report, are appealing for calm.
In Nigeria's ethnically and religiously mixed Plateau State, increasing fears of renewed violence between Christians and Muslims.
When Fulani herdsmen came late in the night, I escaped through the window, but they killed my son, his wife, and daughter.
Plateau is an area of ethnic and religious rivalries over land and power between local people and migrants from other areas. These often take the form of sectarian strife between Christian and Muslim communities. Fears of a sectarian civil war emerged after a series of bombings by Islamists across Nigeria on Christmas Day killed over 24 people. The attacks included a bombing at a church in the Plateau State capital of Jos. Christian and Muslim religious leaders are appealing for calm.
We are totally against it, we condemn it, and nobody is doing it on behalf of Muslims. No, anybody who claims to do it on behalf of Muslims, it's a lie. They are doing it for themselves.
If it were a political fight, it would have either been PDP fighting ACN, or fighting AMPP, or fighting any other political party. But this is people fighting either the church or the mosque that do not support them.
The head of the Christian Association in Nigeria said the killings were not religious but political. He added the group would retaliate if any further attacks against Christians were carried out.
About a quarter of Mauritania's population, or 700,000 people, face the grim prospect of a severe food shortage as a result of poor grain yields attributed to lack of enough rain. The government there is coming up with emergency measures to deal with the rather alarming situation, but things are not being helped by the dramatic rise in food prices. Let's look at this report for more on that.
Rainfall this year. Cereal production and pasture land have been the worst affected by the lack of water.
Cereal production is not expected to cover more than 15% of the country's needs, whereas in normal times it covers 25 to 35%. As for pasture land, the problem is so acute that we will have to import large quantities of cattle feed to prevent the worst from happening.
1/4 of the population is in danger. 700,000 people are threatened by severe food shortage. We have noted that food prices have risen,
And even if these items are still available at the markets, they're not accessible to everyone, least of all to the poorest. In early December, the Mauritanian government launched an emergency program totaling 100 million euros. Aid organizations such as Oxfam are also going to provide food aid. But long-term solutions are needed as well in all countries of the Sahel that regularly suffer from food shortage.
The heads of state have pledged that over the next 5 years they will double the share of agriculture in their national budgets from 5 to 10% and will put the emphasis on infrastructure.
But so far, only 12 of the 54 countries concerned have respected these commitments. According to the World Food Programme, between 5 and 7 million people in Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, Mauritania and Mali are in need of immediate food aid.
A Turkish airstrike targeting militants from Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK) has claimed the lives of some 35 people in a Kurdish area close to the border with the Iraqi, and the 11-day official mourning period declared by the North Korean regime after the demise of Kim Jong-il has ended. We have details of this and other stories in this roundup of all news.
Kurdish area close to Turkey's border with Iraq killed at least 35 people late Wednesday. According to Turkey's authorities, warplanes were targeting militants from the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, across the border in Iraq. A report says the Turkish military had confused Kurdish militants with smugglers. Cigarette and fuel smuggling is common on either side of Turkey's and Iraq's border. A big explosion in Burma's biggest city, Rangoon, killed at least 17 people early Thursday morning. The blast in a compound of warehouses spread to nearby homes, making hundreds of people homeless. A monastery was also destroyed. Over recent years, Burma has been hit by several bomb blasts. North Korea's state television continues to broadcast images of public mourning. Thursday ends almost 2 weeks of official mourning for Kim Jong-il, who had been in power since 1994. Tens of thousands of troops and civilians were on the streets in a display to show that North Korea's rulers have a firm grip on power. Kim Jong-un is the son of the late leader and is now North Korea's new official leader of the party, state and army. In China, a Beijing court failed to reach a verdict Thursday in a trial of a Chinese rights activist, Ni Lulan, and her husband, Dong Chicken. The two activists have been providing legal assistance to people forcibly evicted from their homes in illegal land grabs by politicians. The couple had their own home in Beijing confiscated and demolished in 2002. The couple were on trial for fraud and libel.
We now take our second break. Stay tuned.
Size is a key success factor. Zenith Bank, the biggest bank in West Africa, is expanding in the Gambia. Priding itself on excellent customer service delivery, Zenith Bank Gambia opens a new branch on number 9 Nelson Mandela Street in Banjul. For all your banking services and transactions for sending and receiving money through Western Union, Money Express and RIA, at Zenith Bank, we put people, technology, and service first. Zenith Bank, always in your best interest.
And before we go, a reminder of our headlines. Officials implementing the $12 million Growth and Competitiveness Project have rolled out a sub-component dubbed the Matching Grants Facility. Jammeh Foundation for Peace has doled out a whopping $1.7 million aid to 8 grassroots organizations. The overnight killing of an entire family in Nigeria's multi-ethnic Plateau state has scaled up fears of more religious clashes. and hunger and malnutrition are stalking 700,000 Mauritanians living on cereals after a not-so-impressive planting season in the likely desert country. You can also follow those stories and other GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.com.